VRI control. We pulse the sprinkler, we shut it off for avoidance areas, as well as we control the travel speed of the pivot. Okay? A lot of guys will say that we have VRI irrigation, and all they're doing is speeding up and slowing down the pivot. We do control every sprinkler individually. We're not in banks. As you see there, all of them are turning off individually. We have a node that controls 4 sprinklers individually. And then we modify the application depth, okay? And something to point out is we do control the travel speed as well as pulsing. Today's setup is you write a plan on your laptop or on your computer. You can put multiple plans on that VRI panel. So maybe in wintertime you want to create a half a dozen plans, 30 plans, I don't care. You can put them all on the panel and switch them at any time. Okay? Percentage mode can be used if you have VRI on your entire length of the machine or just partial. Percentage mode will not control the travel speed of the pivot. All it's going to do is pulse your valves. When you're setting up your polygons, instead of saying I want an inch here, a half inch here, you're going to say 50%, 60%, 90%, whatever. That is a percentage of the application rate that you have at your pivot panel. So if you draw in a polygon and you say 50% and you go to your pivot, or you have your farmer or your operator, your hired man, and you say I want to put an inch on, and it's going over that polygon that says 50%. In that polygon he's going to be putting on a half inch, right? So sometimes that's a nice feature, sometimes it's not what you want. You know, because in that example, you know, maybe you got this bottom area that I just always want to be a percentage less. Today I'm going to put an inch on, tomorrow I'm going to put a half inch on. But I'll always put a percentage less. And you're okay with that, okay? So that's percentage mode. If you only have VRI on, say, 3 or 5 spans, which we can do, you don't have to put it on the full 7 towers. You have to run it in percentage mode. Okay? What I'm about to explain, you can't run it unless you have nodes on the entire machine and valves on the entire machine. Are we good so far? Okay. So full VRI. In full VRI, we control the travel speed of the pivot. You do not input percentages, you input rates. The pivot will do a lot of different things all at the same time. It will speed up and slow down the travel speed, trying to utilize the full gallon per minute that it has available. Okay? VRI knows that it's overwatering. And in full VRI mode, it will pulse them sprinklers on that inner span to put the right amount of water on. That nozzle could be a number 20, and it will pulse it down to what it needs to be. Because it knows the diameter, the rate, and what you really want to apply. Okay? You kind of have been asking some questions, you know, what can you bring in here for different layers? You can bring in an AWC map, a crop parameters, GPS points. You can go out there and just mark some points, and you draw your polygons, you can connect the dots. You know, I had one customer. Okay?
What does rusty water do to screen in your valve there? You know, up on our area there's a lot of rust in that water.
I was hoping somebody would ask that question. So I told this story and they asked that I share it again. You know, we recommend, our stance on the situation is we recommend clean water. Okay? When I worked as an agronomist, one year they decided to do a guaranteed chemical, or a guaranteed weed-free program. If you guys have any idea what that costs us, that is not a good program as a cooperative to run. Okay? Kind of that same, be intelligent about this. So we promote clean water. With that being said, plastic valve, you know, you run into corrosion stuff with more of your, you know, your galvanized goosenecks or your metallic properties, you know, the old brass valve, but the plastics is better with some of that. It doesn't gum up in there as bad. We've had a lot better success with the tougher waters with this valve. Did I answer answer your question?
Yeah, kinda.
How about river sand?
Fine sand.
Fine
Yeah.
sand.
You know, it really, as long as it doesn't cover that filter 100%, you'll be fine. And that filter, it isn't like it's gotta all travel through that tube. You know, that's just the bleed off deal. And the way that's designed, the water's going to go around it, you know?
That must help flush that screen off too when the water's going around.
Yeah.
It is running.
Yeah. I mean,
Here, go next.
okay.